Hello, my name is Jonathan Steen, and today I'm going to be telling you about how to set up a manufactured home using a foundation and everything. The source I used for all the information I got off this was my dad, Kevin Steen, who's been setting up homes for about 30-some years. He has a lot of experience doing this. A few things about this speech is all the information that I'm going to give you is based on Indiana state law, like the home that I'm describing, how it's set up is to Indiana code, and some of it may be preference for what we do, so it's not like a universal fix-all for setting up homes. And it's also set for a modular home on, it's a double wide, and it's being set on a foundation. So, that being said, the first part of setting up a home is the digging of the foundation, and when you get the foundation, during the digging of the foundation, the length of the footer, which is where the concrete is poured into, varies based on the size of the home. The footer can be anywhere from 40 to 76 feet long and 24 to 36 feet wide for a double wide. The hole that is actually dug, the hole itself, is going to be 18 inches wide, and it's going to be 32 inches below the frost line. That's the regulation in Indiana. Next, after the footer has been dug, is the pouring of the concrete. In the pouring of the concrete, rebar is placed in the hole, and it is supported about 4 inches above the bottom of the hole by little, sometimes they use other 10-inch pieces of rebar and then wire the long piece that is laying in the bottom of the hole to that rebar, or there are actually little stands that can be used to place the rebar on it, whichever the preference is. Next, grade stakes are then placed in the hole, and they are set level to where the top of the concrete is going to be poured. These stakes are, the different height of the stake is determined by a laser transit, which is a tool that uses laser spotting to measure the different levels of the pole so that everything's going to be level once the concrete's poured. Next, when the concrete is then poured into the hole to the top of the grade stakes, like I said, just in everything's level, it's just barely maybe over the top of the stakes. After that, you have to wait for the concrete to dry. It takes about 3 days for the concrete to fully dry so it can support the next step of the setup. The crawl space, after the concrete dries, the crawl space is then dug out, and this is dug level. Just the dirt is removed so that it is level with the poured concrete. And then pea gravel is installed as a moisture barrier between the ground and the bottom of the home so that there isn't mold or anything that starts growing under the bottom of the dark space of the home. After the crawl space has been dug out, block is then laid. 8 by 16 inch concrete blocks are laid by block masons around the whole perimeter where the footer where the concrete's been poured. The block is laid 5 courses or layers high on top of the poured concrete. Next, a seal plate is then applied to the top of the blocks, and the seal plate is basically a 2 by 10 treated piece of lumber that is used to help with keeping moisture out of the home and to secure it to the foundation. After the seal plate has been put down, the excess dirt that has been dug out, maybe out of the crawl space or out from the footer, is then pushed up to the foundation to help level the ground, the area around the foundation, so that the home, when you're putting the home in, it's not all holey or muddy, and try and help with basically just keeping the area clean. After the block has been laid, the home is then moved from the sales lot to the foundation, and the home, if it's a double wide, the home is pulled in 2 halves down the highway or wherever it's being taken to. When it arrives, both halves are then set parallel to the foundation, and the home is set a little bit higher than the foundation for the next step, which is actually the setting. The crew that is there then rolls both halves of the home together from either side, doesn't matter which side you start with, onto the foundation, so that then the home is just, they're very strong steel rollers, and the home just slides together, and both halves, you just try and be as gentle as possible and try not to break anything. It's a long process, and it takes a lot of experience to get used to. After the halves are rolled onto the foundation itself and set on the steel plate, the crew then uses lag bolts, 8-inch lag bolts, to secure the two halves of the home together. Then the home is secured to the seal plate using 4-inch lag bolts. After that, the crew finishes the external work on the house, such as roofing, maybe doing siding or guttering possibly. It all varies depending on the home. But the basic raising of the roof, because the roof, when the home is moved, is set inside the home, and it has to be raised up for the peak of the home to be installed. After that, the final touches on the interior are done. There's drywall put up, and the little parts of the home are painted, and any damage that may have been done during the transport are repaired and fixed, and all that kind of stuff. After that, the utilities, like the water and the sewer and the gas and the electric, are then hooked up to the home. And then after that, the lawn is seeded, and any paths that need to be poured, like sidewalks or driveways or whatever, anything like that is then poured. After that, the home is ready to be moved into. The family comes, checks it out. If they all approve of everything, then it's all set up, and that is basically how you set up a manufactured home.